Miramar, of course, and there's no better way to do it. I feel this map can garner a great deal of points, and actually, I want to kind of discuss something a little tidbit of information. Do bear in mind there was that one result, Rich. Do you remember the Pittsburgh Knights? Do you remember that team?
I do. And I remember more specifically how the very, very
Mm-hmm.
final day they managed to qualify in a certain event by the skin of their teeth. No one kind of saw it coming, and all of a sudden,
75 points.
yeah, from the back lines, literally. So,
Mm-hmm.
there is proof that other teams have the tiniest chance to be able to do this, to be able to win this event. But my
Correct.
God, is it going to be one difficult task? And again, it's you have to do well in yourself, but everybody else, they have to muck up. Failing that, the potentials for hot drops, they are there.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on the hot drop scenario. Again, just to clarify the top. So, of course, Northern Lights, if anything, should win this. It is their game to now lose. That's the harsh way to look at things. They sit there with the best chance there is, then DA, but it's still not a big chance. They need big performances. That's under the assumption that Northern Lights don't do as well as they should. Prediction wise, you're looking at a solid almost 90% chance Northern Lights win this. Then you go down DA, you're looking at your 5%, your Liquids around 3, Tornado Energy. You know, these teams are so low down, but we have seen it happen before. PUBG can provide those sort of games, but we'll see if it does come through. Plenty of teams have the possibility. Fuzzface popping off a couple of shots. Mert's going to receive the touch of that, and if he goes down, that would not be the start that DA were looking for.
No, absolutely not. Even with a bit of damage done, finding your scout going into an enemy territory, it could be rather difficult, especially if you pull upon another team that's there. It's always kind of the same scenario when you're running from the blue. We talk about it time and time again, where you may have the med, you may have everything else, but if you are weakened on approach, and if a team's just border patrol, it's very easy picking. So for that one player, scouting has to be hyper aware of what's going on now. It looks like it is Murd, who is currently not quite central, but certainly just between FaZe Clan and Northern Lights. That is a place you do not want to be for very long. Circle like this, I suppose we can talk about it in a bit more detail and a bigger picture up towards the northwest. You only have a small amount of the cliff. Oh, probably can't talk for too long because it looks like Ivers realizes that somebody's here. The gun comes out and the head goes down. Bard, do you know what's approaching?
Seems very unaware. Seems completely unsure, still fully just looting up, and hopefully we can get some game sounds for you nice and soon. Ivers creeping up, fully assured that this player's still around, but he's being cautious about it. Everyone has to be. These players, yes, you may have the initial advantage, but the return fire from someone like Vard can be pretty good. So again, Vard's still just on his loot route, doing his things, and now suddenly, did he see Ivers? I think... Oh, I don't... Yes, he did. Now he's fully aware. Ivers now committed to the angle as well. Vard on the other side. It looks like Vard's going to try and get an angle on this. He's going to run through, gets a bit more attention. That's just a headshot waiting to happen. You've got to be very cautious in this. Ivers dodging and weaving, going to back away to a deeper angle and does get the shot. Well played by Ivers to adjust just at that final second. Will get Vard and should get his additional loot off the back of it. No one there to trade or pressure.
It's a bit of a warning for TSM. They've fallen victim to this multiple times in previous competitions where teams have just kind of pushed on their position and really been a nuisance, not really push them out of the town, so to speak, but give them very early aggression. And by losing a player so early on, it's very, very detrimental. You know, you're going to be now down for this entire first game, and it just doesn't really set the standard. A team that will want to set the standard is Northern Lights. You were speaking about it, Lauren. You were setting up the story. This is their time to shine. This is their time to be able to put 2 championships for this year, and again, it was kind of noted on the desk, bookending it. They started with a win. To be able to round out 2020 with a win would be a phenomenal feat. I think yesterday, I have to say, to say lucky is completely the wrong word. There's no luck involved in this whatsoever. It's skill and being able to wrap around and get yourself a decent position on the map. But certainly, which did pay off for them, was Digital Athletics having a very bad day. Oh, no, Vasco. Second player to fall. So losing 2 within 4 minutes is pretty quick and probably sets the story of how today is going to go. But with DA's performance yesterday, I feel that they lacked confidence. Yes, Froz mentioned it. There was certainly a readjust from WS when you have nothing to lose. Teams will kind of do whatever they want, right? They can go to the whatever locations, they can push whoever they want. If they're just playing for cash and playing a public, then fair play. But certainly, there was a few questionable points where DA paused for too long, and it ended up costing their life. Two 16th placed games with 0 points to boot is the reason that the Northern Lights have such a solid gap now. Like, I know it's only 21, and I know you can make that up with the game, but still, 21 points when there's only 4 remaining. I mean, they could literally go down in 16th here and still be top of the board when all said and done.
Yeah, I think we saw the potential of DA once again appear yesterday with Code Marco popping off in that. I think it was the second game of Miramar. The first, I think they fumbled potentially. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And then Erangel was atrocious. Obviously, that one went as far astray as possible. So, if you are a DA fan, you've got to hope that we get the second game DA that had Code Marco at the forefront, and not the ones who got kind of flustered on Erangel. And yes, I will account for the fact that we did have military circles, and they had some very harsh rotations and a new drop spot because they were pressured by WS. So, taking all of this into account, it wasn't a good day, but resilience and the ability to adapt and overcome is some of the key factors here. A couple of kills coming in, WS this time unable to dissuade too many early on, already losing a couple here as it looks like. I think Kemba's still up, but I'm not sure on the other. As you can see them just off into the distance there as they'll be trying to maybe play a little safe, as Offstring did just get knocked and Maxi is already down. That's going to be Marv to claim those points, so Redline happy with that. They're in their own battles, everyone here fighting for their own reasons, be it purely pride, be it prize money, be it towards the top, and be it FaZe and Liquid about to get very close by. Uber is out on his own though. He does have Fuzzface in the same town, but not in the same sort of area. This needs to be quick, and it is. Uber, the sort of player who can deliver swift judgment. The M4 working well for him today, but it's not going to be a clean flush, and Jeems might be able to see this. He's pulling closer to it as Fuzzface has the cross, though. No one can get to Uber for free.
That's the most important thing. Been able to pick up this frag, but stay alive while doing so. He clearly made note that there was a vehicle on way, so that's why you will see Fuzzfish just holding it back. Jeems now opens up and opens fire. Position absolutely noted. Down below sub 50% HP will be forced to fall back. I mean, they don't even have to go for Mexi at this point. They know he's unresable if they hold position. For Liquid, it's what do they do? Are they committing to the cause? Are they committing to this position more importantly? FaZe Clan member in the back is under fire. Does need to be aware of that. It's going to be Gustav just holding point on that one. 3 different positions held by FaZe. And when we look at this kind of circle, there's 3 key, very important areas we need to be watching. North of Monte Nuevo, south, a bit deeper south of Monte Nuevo, and then power grid. Like if you get that power grid swing, you've already got ETG and TSM set up and ready to rock and roll on that thing. Northern Lights in between it all. You would need the eastern pull to get that. It's going to be difficult. I mean, there is still a bit of the cliff face in, but we don't know how much of effect that will for these initial circles. But certainly in and around that kind of triangulated area, that's where the players are looking at now. You do have a few obscure teams more towards the northern side. Mexi does finally bleed out. Team Liquid lose their first initial player. FaZe pick up a point. Northern side of it, Redline, WS, all these scrappy battles you are seeing unfold on your screen. Probably got the most amount of work to do when all said and done. Remember this cliff face that they're on, the kind of hook that runs off the backside of the crater. Eventually will push out. Where it goes to, nobody knows. El Pozo could be a potential spot for WS. The Sauna Boys are keeping a track of that in a 2-1-1 split, spreading themselves out across the map to give themselves a better advantageous spot should the circle be unfavorable. And as it does push in 3 seconds' time, we'll see where we are going to be going.
Okay. I'd still say there's a couple of possibilities towards the east that could play out, but FaZe probably quite happy with this. Still maintaining that position that they are always so happy to hold. Tornado Energy going to commit across the road. You can see them already adjusting away from the edge of El Pozo, that kind of cliffside that runs around. And Northern Lights very centralized, as is DA though. So keep in mind, these are the 2 teams towards the top who are battling for that first spot. Northern Lights currently maintain it, and they will do if DA don't take them away. Now, Northern Lights will have a couple of teams very close by, ETG, Tornado Energy. They will be challenging, but they are the kings of the castle. They have the high ground, they have the the buildings there as well. So if they play this correctly, they shouldn't find too much bother yet.
Well, the 3 critical and most important positions are still in with this circle, so it makes it that much more difficult, especially from an IGL standpoint. This is why you will see teams like FaZe, for instance, going off on a 2-2. Why you see the Sauna Boys initially, they put themselves into a 2-1-1. Getting as much land as you can without putting yourself in danger is important. That's the trade-off. It's okay separating yourselves. For instance, Sakura here If Shift W want to pull up on it, then it's job done for him in theory. Don't get me wrong, we've seen some wonderful stuff, especially from Marco yesterday. Some of
Sure.
those individual performances were just absolutely incredible to witness.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
expect that though. That's a treat.
and I've got to say, Lauren, like that one performance from Miramar for me is the
Yep.
reason that they're still in second position. Like that guy for that game in particular just carried his team to insanity levels. Like the man
Yeah.
went off. It was disgusting, and it's the reason they're still in second because everything else was not the best of performances. A lot of second guessing over on Erangel, and a lot of rough starts with WS moving another position on Miramar. So it wasn't their best day. There is still
Yeah.
opportunity here to be able to do it, but there's a lot of factors that need to be taken into consideration here. Northern Lights being the main one, in the fact that they can just sit back, play their game, not go dive bombing into center. Honestly, it could play quite well for them.
It could. I think the main thing for me is looking at DA is what DA do we see? Because we've seen them working on this style, and stylistic changes do take time. They're a team that have adjusted themselves from, full send to the center to be able to play actually a couple of different approaches. And it's worked, and it's shown that it proves very, very potent. However, they are currently in the shadow of the Colossus of Northern Lights. They sit at the top of that hillside and they will hinder movement, but Batulins will have to be careful. I am seeing Batulins slightly disconnected from the pack. He's a little bit further south on the same ridgeline, but again, 10 feet. 2 steps can be the difference between being safe and being vulnerable. As Ivers just found out, as a beautiful shot from Misa. Is he the player up on that mountainside? If he is, it's the right logo for it. I just want to make sure it was him. That was gorgeous work. Just, the lightning bolt from up high, slamming down. Now, Batulins will be the one who's slightly disconnected. So again, this is where he has to be cautious. Look at the mini-map as well, on the map here, on the right side. Spyro, Perfectix, all of them, pack of 3, if not kind of a 2-1-1. But Batulins is isolated. Now, with him being on the high ground, if he does get knocked, he might be able to kind of shuffle back far enough to be safe. But they're playing for territory, Rich. They're not being too shy about this, and that circle has proven that they are in the right place.
They are, but eventually they should, in theory, have to come down from that, right? You would suggest that with Power Grid, there is a potential that it pushes more down to the main road. I'll wait until we see. Anything can really kind of happen at this point, but you'd have to assume that maybe, yeah, that is an absolutely disgusting
Beautiful.
shot. Just leaning it forward and timing it right, bang on. DA, emergency situation here. They were quite central,
Where are
but
they going?
I've got to say,
Hold on.
this is kind of what I'm
What are they
questioning now,
doing?
because someone in theory could go into the compound that they've just left. Like, this is a bit of a weird and wonderful play. I say wonderful. I mean, I think they're questioning it themselves. Maybe they went across the road to try and take the compound that Liquid was holding to try and take better residency. Maybe the one that ETG was going for.
Oh god, Mert is so lucky right now. Batulins has given away the position, so he might have to fall away from this, because if someone like ETG, FaZe, Tornado Energy, or someone along those lines who are in the surrounding area sees that, he is silhouetting hard. You will see him against that skyline very comfortably. But we need to talk about that DA. An attempt at an adjustment. Where were they looking towards?
I think they were going main road, like where ETG have actually fallen down from. They've moved into it, and ETG are covering it in a 2-2 split. There's 2 solid compounds there that you can take on the crossroad. To be able to capitalize on that would actually put them 1 step ahead if the circle pulls in, because now they're open to the point of, all right, if it does come down towards it, we've already got Liquid, we've already got ENCE, we've already have teams in front of us. It's basically an open gauntlet. You have all these teams that are going to be shooting you, because you can't really go up and over the hillside, otherwise you die just coming down upon it. So it becomes very, very difficult. The Northern Lights, to me, if the hard shift is not with them, I've said this so many times and then been proven wrong because they just somehow make it work. Tornado Energy has been one that's quite quiet, and probably not someone we've touched on too much. It was a bit of a up and down day yesterday for him, but they're certainly still within a shot of winning this. Now, it would take a hell of a lot, especially with DA and Northern Lights above them, but still, the individual caliber and individual skill is definitely there to be able to do this. A couple of kills onto FaZe Clan early to push them back would be better. The ground isn't great that they're currently controlling. There is no solidified compound there. You are at the mercy of the Northern Lights above you, and you are all rather spread out. I mean, this, they're kind of together, but still, when you've got Example looking off to try and scout, Ali Aquizzi, Melman's doing his usual thing and just wandering off for the rest of them. having an anchor is a very strong point that they have. Always having that one person looking and knowing what's going on. Information is key to Tornado Energy's success. But when you lose that one player, you lose the man advantage, and more importantly, you lose your eyes. You lose the information on the players that will be coming your way. If TE can actually slot into Northern Lights' position, then
they're moving
it's
up on
comfortable.
this. And it's a good read. Northern Lights pre-adjusting to the circle maneuver. They were already in the vehicles early. And bear in mind, they did have Batulins on that hillside. And you can see why DA wanted this compound, but now Northern Lights get that information for free. Batulins can say, hey guys, I've just seen ETG leave the compound. Send it. Send it in there. Really good scouting, in-game leadership, and knowledge of the circle already coming out from Northern Lights. They are playing a very, very strong game here. Now, DA are going to be behind the curve. They wanted to do this in the previous circle, but they couldn't. There was too many teams there, but the timing is just right for Northern Lights. They played that very well. Bystanders pulling up. There's Brexico actually pulling up on the bystanders. And oh, James, this is when you have to prove your mettle here, buddy. You've got players pushing you left, right, and potentially upstairs, but Ibby's there in support. James locks it down. That's the classic Liquid the fans would have loved to have been seeing earlier. But Clib did get caught off in the process, and I've just seen 8C not only knocked, but flushed.
Yeah, that's orange in the distance on Na'Vi. James will continue the onslaught. Pink Pony goes down. The first team to be leaving us here on Championship Sunday. Clib is potentially unresable. If they want to commit to it, fair play. Lots of bullets into the side of this one player. Senya, bye-bye, my friend. Rather unlucky, but now Fuzzface is out on a limb here. He will be able to at least run from the blue. The stims are on. They're going to be good. It's the slowest, it's the quickest side of it, so they'll have to get a wriggle on rather sharpishly, especially with the Sauna Boys in the distance of FaZe Clan and everyone else starting to just teeter on the edge. It'll be TU can kind of play border control. You can see the frags are starting to drop down. Alia again just hanging back, being the anchor that they needed. Misa going down kind of alleviates that pressure for all but a sudden. Beamy's around the corner. Can he withstand Shift W's onslaught? Flammy is at the back lines. He's not there to support whatsoever. That's a huge
We need to watch that. That's far more important. Got to see if DA how they're doing. They are the team that's on the chase here. I love Tornado Energy. It's very exciting. They are fighting it out with Liquid. But if we see members of DA struggling to leave this compound, that is going to be the death of them. We'll find out if that's the case. Sauna Boys have just fallen. FaZe are on the move. That's between Northern Lights and Ents. It could be just who picks up the points off the back of these players. Uber, Gustav, Fuzzface, all on the move. All trying to get into that next area that could provide some slight essence of safety, but there really isn't much out here.
Yeah, map knowledge now is so vital. You can see they've taken a ridgeline. They'll be able to build themselves a wall with the vehicles that they have. Same scenario, unfortunately, for Na'Vi. I mean, hell, this shack is just going to prove to be the only last standing bit of land they can really take. They'll keep the vehicles at least, so that's something. DA on the move. They've opted to take this on foot. Now, if TE can feed all this information back to the rest of the roster, they could just track them. Track them, kill them from above, and it's job done. Oh my god, one good grenade would spell utter disaster for DA if it was perfect. Do they have the information for TE? That's the bigger question.
Nice little shot. Yeah, you're right. I don't think Tornado Energy will know this. They're separated by that hillside that Batulins was on earlier. And Tornado Energy using the same approach as Northern Lights. We've had interviews with Tornado Energy discussing that they like some of the styles that Northern Lights brings. And now can you imagine if DA had this compound? If they'd taken it when they wanted it and didn't die in the process? That's the difference here. Now Northern Lights have it because they read the rotation better. They understood the timing to hit. Simply a better call and better timing, but they are now seeing a player knocked. Batulins may be a little too proactive with the peak, but he's in a similar scenario. Fuzzface knocked and pretty isolated. I don't know if Uber and Gustav can make it over there too easy to help him out. You can see Uber trying to keep them at bay, but these boys are getting a little bit peaky, a little bit cocky at this point. Northern Lights definitely not shy, but we are seeing DA take some fights here. That looks towards maybe Na'Vi or maybe even Redline, not sure. I want to keep my mind towards DA because they're the ones who are looking to try and do well in this game. If game one goes poorly, the odds become, I'd say, almost impossible if Northern Lights have a good game.
Na'Vi have been shooting at that for quite some time. With level 3 gear, they'll happily just take a quick peek, see if they can window it. Fuzzface falling down. FaZe Clan slowly but surely being picked away, and again, it's because of multiple teams. Vehicles still in abundance here for DA. They will just teeter on the edge of the circle, maybe try and get a better angle and a better approach onto the side of Na'Vi and make it in there. With Chris going down from a different angle altogether, a little bit of pressure is being relieved from the bystanders here. They've been a nuisance for quite some time and just working against one another. Another thing on Northern Lights that you just need to really make note of is like how dangerous it can be to be up at that top point. You know what? I'm going to stop just because it's going to get a little bit chaotic. But yeah,
Yep.
from being up on the hillside to scout it to then move in, a second that all of a sudden we see ETG leave, like it's a fantastic maneuver and one that they just got in front of DA4. We'll see how that goes faring down the game as Oma can decide to get going. Yellow will fall from this fight that's been happening for quite some time, and honestly, Blammy, I think it's just time to full send it here, buddy. This has been going on way too long. It's job done. Shift W can carry on, but Rexco has unfortunately fallen. Kill Yakai at the front. Omakan is knocking at the door.
Okay, I do know that Tornado Energy are getting a lot of kills here. If they can keep this up, we've seen that TE can frag. There's never been a dispute towards that. It's that consistency we're looking for, and it's evaded them slightly this tournament, but they're still in third. I mean, holding them to a very high standard. So again, eyes towards it. I think they've got 7 kills already, potentially. So again, this is a big game for them, and they're putting up numbers early. Omakan, and as you noted, Shift W still trying to have this battle in toward the blue, but TSM finding a couple of the scraps of win streak as they try to make their way forward, slightly further south from this fight, but not by a great deal. Looks like Zocker's looking for his options, and I've got to be honest with you, Rich, there aren't many.
It's really limited, which, to be fair, could be a fair few that are going to be in a similar position as soon as this circle updates. We'll see where it's going to be faring. Kind of game we got a hold of us. Now, for DA, it's time to put those vehicles to good use. For Na'Vi, I mean, they can just sit in there like a turret and just keep playing into digital athletics, to be fair. They don't really have to do too much. Zoka goes down to the blue. No point will be found on that one. FaZe lose a second player. Again, T looking for as many frags as possible. That'll be an easy picking should they be able to get one over. Now that that's been found, that opens up all realms of possibility. That suggests to many teams where DA's position is. It's been noted. If Ents can even get on top of one of the vehicles or the roofs, they'll have a better eye line into it. Page is just full sending. If he somehow can't caught Base Clan mid-res, it will be devastating.
Example is having a game so far. I'm seeing his name, Alia, in the kill feed. Tornado Energy now starting to look like they're closing in towards DA. DA have been sleeping. It looks like they were out of sorts. Nice little tag there, but now TE on the move. They're going to make their move right here, right now. They're on the buggy. Page, luckily down for them. It looks like they might have just about... Oh no, Batulin's found Example. I thought they had an angle. I thought they had a little position. Now they've lost Example, but the other three, have they found that tiny ditch? I think it is. I think that's just enough safety for them for now. It's not much, and now DA are under fire. Mert's gone down to an 8. He's been knocked time and time again. He's going to be in all kinds of ways. This is DA. Look at this smash. Petralius, desperate to hold on. This is not pretty scenes for any DA fans. They're burning alive. But maybe the points can bring them back to life here as the tab still waits in the hut. Maybe the time's right to strike, and it is, but he goes down. Nice work in the end. Mert will fall, but Code Marco can potentially be recovered.
I'd be stunned, absolutely stunned if they keep 3 alive. That is such a wild maneuver to push Na'Vi against it, especially when Ents on the backside. They must have just got the timing perfectly right and hit them when they went inside the shack. To lose 1 player on that transition, that is I'll take that any day of the week. They were well and truly up against it, so to be able to survive with 3 is phenomenal. The tags are still coming through with the AWM. The nades start to go over Team Liquid. It's time for them to move. With only 2 of them standing, they have all 4 members of Redline holding them under the gun, keeping them in check. Looks like they do have 1 vehicle at least, so the bike's there. Should they be able to try and just pull it over the road? But Redline themselves are looking for an entry point once they have to cross the road. Ents on the other side are just waiting for all oncomings. Like, the frags are going to eventually come their way. And for Redline, it's try and burn the boys out, find the snakes in the grass and see who's behind. With FaZe going, makes it a little bit easier for Tornado Energy. Gives them a bit more ground, a bit more stability for all but a moment. But it will be fragile. Circle updates, and it only keeps 1 team in. That is 1 priority compound in play, and everyone else left to play the edge.
We have the top 4 still alive in various states. Northern Lights, 4 standing. DA, 3. TE, 3. And Team Liquid, 2. And, well, I guess you could argue Northern Lights could shuffle in from their position, but it'll give them a very quiet position, but it's some safety. Tornado Energy already trying to move up. They've put Melman in a further forward position. Now, Spyro did get vision on it, and he knows the rest will be trying to cross this. So prepares himself for the rest. Already getting his eyes set towards where they were and where they want to go. Spyro now probably eyes drilled in. I don't know if Alia and Quizzy make it across here. And if you're DA and you hear these shots from the team that could have kept you further back, now is your time to move, and they have. Getting further into the circle, Spyro is punishing Tornado Energy here. The tap, tap, tap comes in. And Quizzy does just about make it. Okay, 2 now alive for Tornado. Oh, make it just 1.
That's not good. That's not good at all. Another victim falls, and it's the form of Team Liquid with a bike off the back of it, and it's job done. Redline and Ents go toe-to-toe against them. But this also opens up for where Redline are going to be. Ents should have a full eye line on that, with ETG laying in the grass and laying in wait. That could be very, very difficult. Melman forced 11 kills for T. That's pretty damn good. Northern Lights will step up to the plate. Code Marco is hot on the heels. To be able to take out the Northern Lights would be a fantastic feat for DA. Get them out a little bit early. Try and capitalize on the points that they've banked yesterday.
Okay. I mean, that angle looks so treacherous. Are they in? They must just be in. But look at the angle. It's like a little death pocket. It's just this tiny little area. We've got another pull-up, and surely going to be free farming. No, QBE on the trade. Nicely played from him, keeping tabs on Diggory, not letting him get free kills in, but Redline do go down nonetheless. And Melman trying to be relevant in this still, but look at the state of his gear. Vest cracked, helmet red, he's barely alive. He's lost all his teammates on this as well. Down to 5 teams though. We're getting towards the pointy end of the stick here. And it's the top 3 that are holding on for dear life. And honestly, Northern Lights' position, it's precarious, but it's worked out already. Smash goes down, making a mad play for it. Northern Lights get the circle. They have the circle positioning now that should keep them in this. Ents don't have line of sight because it dips down slightly off the back of that road, and Northern Lights will perfectly place themselves amongst it. This should be the death of DA unless Ents, Tornado Energy, ETG get involved.
So I understand the logic there. Smash is trying to take a bit more ground, get his team a better stance within the circle, and also maybe make something work with the down player that they initially got on the side of Northern Lights, but he left it too late. He left it till both players were up and running. Here comes the bombardment. They opt to deny the points. They know what's coming their way, so they'd rather just give it up to the blue than give it up to Northern Lights. I'm totally fine with that, but the Northern Lights keep charging forward. 4 players in play. ETG goes down. See you later, guys. We'll see you in the next round. Tornado Energy, Melman still has 1. No kills coming out of him while he's been here for some time, but overall 11 is not bad for T. He's kept him into the top 3, so I'm totally fine with that. Ents, what is left in the bag? Because you are pinned. You are absolutely pinned in the roadside cafeteria. Northern Lights are just setting up on the road, like watching every single angle possible. Rustin Mars gone out early, and Lou is getting behind.
Yeah, Northern Lights controlling 50% of this circle, and there's a world where you could have seen DA having this, because they went for the exact same compound just at the wrong time. Timing truly is everything in this. If Ents can topple them, it'd be great for Ents, because that mid-pack, around 7th place is exceedingly close. Divided by a couple of points here and there, but Northern Lights have such territory. They're in such a good spot when it comes to this. It's going to be very tricky to find a comfortable way to fight them. Unless Ents still has exceedingly good gear, and maybe they do. They've been in a couple of fights, and they do get the center point of the circle. So the harder part for Northern Lights will be that roadside, to cross it into this. Now, Melman can play spoiler slightly. Ents are very aware of his position, though. They seem all but too aware that there's a man lurking on the outskirts, battered, broken, bruised. Melman, it might be time to look towards the blue here if he doesn't get anything given. Yeah, blue's the better option. Do not give teams additional points here. Today is not the day to be doing it, especially the Northern Lights.
And LT will be looking for an initial pick. Should they be able to land one of these nades, that'll be a phenomenal time to strike. They do have the advantage when it comes to manpower and gunpower, but the problem is the circle's unfavorable to them. The nades go down. If they are fake smokes coming out of Ents, that is just a 9,000 IQ to try and drive the utility of Northern Lights away from them. Not entirely sure whose smokes they are from either side, but regardless, all that utility has been committed by Northern Lights and no ground has been made yet. The circle is closing in.
They're mollying off the street.
Second by
They're mollying off the
6.
side of the street. I love it. It's such a good idea. They have to either you're basically choosing where they cross if they have to. That side is littered with smokes and molotovs. Perfectix finds an avenue, but it's very slender. It's a very slim approach. You can see the flashes coming in. They're going to make the push now. It's Rustamar to meet them, but with the explosion, it's done damage. Batulins just lays in Lou quickly with the MK. Oh,
Wow.
Northern Lights. There's no better
Wow.
way to do it. These boys mean business. Big kill game, big positioning game. But for me, it was that move